2016 has been a pretty crazy year, and it's on its way out the door right now. But before it pieces out and leaves room for 2017, let's take a look at what I believe are the 5 best blasters of the year. And that's pretty important, because when you factor in how short of a shelf span these blasters can have, if they weren't super popular, and even then, sometimes if they are super popular, they disappear, so what the heck do I know? But regardless, they might just disappear. They might have to be culled and make room for the 2017 lineup, and the 2017 lineup may not include a reshell of that blaster, so there's a couple of them you kind of need to check out before they disappear, and hence me making this entire list. We're going to start off with one honorable mention, and that is the Zuru X-Shot Eliminator, which is the pullback double barrel shotgun thing. This, out of the box, is horribad. It is absolutely terrible, but the plunger size in it is massive. It is huge, and with some very standard modifications, it can be an absolute powerhouse. This is a blaster that was already really hard for me to find getting into the end of 2016, and I happened to find one of them. So if you do happen to see the Zuru Bug Splat Eliminator, whatever you want to call it, you might want to consider picking it up. I'll have a mod guide up on mine very, very soon. But let's move on into the list. Coming in at number 5 is the Nerf Doomlands Desolator. The reason why this gets on the list, but it's still kind of at the bottom, is because at the end of the day, it's still a Strife. And worse yet, it's a $30 Strife, which is pretty nuts when you compare it to like the Modulus coming with all that stuff and being a couple dollars more. And then of course the Demolisher in the same vein being pretty darn expensive. But it does make up for that by being just an attractive looking package all over the place. It's got a beautiful magazine, it's got a foregrip that's very comfortable, the clear plastic lets you easily see the internal workings, it's got a stock, it's got all that stuff built into it out of the gate. And of course it will still take all these standard mods that any other Strife would do. So while it's not exactly something entirely new, the Doomlands Desolator is very, very pretty, and I'm glad we got one good kind of economical Strife reprint in the entire year, because we didn't get really a Strife, although they were kind of here and there throughout the year. Getting them on demand was never really that easy, and with the Rapid Reds being $5 at Kmart, and now they're pretty much gone, and then we had the $10 Strifes at Walmart a couple of times, and those being gone, I'm really hoping we see like $10 Desolators at some point. I mean, I know right now if you check Walmart, you can get freaking Demolishers for $15, so those are going away. You could always get like the Modulus, the original Modulus blaster. You could get that for like $13 every so often on Amazon. But Strifes, they're highly modified for a reason. They're a great workhorse, semi-auto, one-handed flywheel blaster that could be either the SMG or the rifle you have ever wanted. They're really good, and the Desolator, in my opinion, is probably the best one, just purely based off aesthetics, but that's, my opinion. Coming in at number 4, we've got the Blvd Destiny. It was basically a Boomco Rapid Madness, but it took standard foam darts, so lots of people really wanted it, and it lived up to just about every claim it needed. It didn't get the longest ranges ever, but it did have a high rate of fire and a decent capacity, shooting 10 darts a second with a 20 dart clip, and the clips were removable, and while it's not super easy to get one at the time of this recording, I have heard of people contacting Blvd through email and getting quotes of about $7 per clip. So that's not too bad. I kind of wish they were available on their website, but when I looked, I couldn't find them. If you're planning on running a blaster like this, you would have to get multiple clips in order to make it worthwhile, but seriously, that rate of fire, decent range, takes standard foam darts. It's no, real secret why people like this blaster so much, especially at that $20 price tag, including how much darn plastic you get. That thing is massive. People love the front trigger mod that Make Task Battle came out with it. And I'm a little cooled off on it because I already really liked the Rapid Madness. And the Rapid Madness, in my opinion, is a little bit easier to use. It's easier to burst fire. It has higher capacities. So while I'm kind of a Boomco fanboy and I didn't really, it's cool, but it's not really that cool. I've never used it in a war or anything like that. I just rather use a Rapid Madness. I can see why people like them a lot, and I like the direction that Blvd was going. I only wish they included a second clip in the box. seriously, if you're gonna come out with a blaster that takes a proprietary clip, you need to include a second one in the box no matter what, unless it's built into the blaster itself. And companies don't like doing that for most reasons, I guess because you can't switch them out, so it makes them way less useful. But at the same time, then they don't include second ones, you can't buy second ones, so what's the point? Coming in at number 3, it's the Nerf Modulus TriStrike. This is a beautiful blaster that even at the time of this recording, you can't buy separately from all of its attachments. And it did come with some pretty cool attachments. But even the base package, even at the $50 I paid for it, what an amazing blaster. It ranks in at number 3 because it's just kind of in the middle of it's really cool but kind of expensive, and I wish it was cheaper, and there really hasn't been a whole lot done with it yet that I want to see done with this blaster. But just going over what it is, it's a bolt action, well, it's basically a Modulus long strike. It's a bolt action retaliator-esque blaster that has a bunch of attachments. It has a stock that's actually a pump with a hamp that shoots a Demolisher rocket like, well, the Demolisher. And then, of course, it's got the front Mega Dart launching hamp in the, the barrel attachment thing. But the core pistol itself, just the base blaster, it has the smoothest slamfire I have seen since, like, the Pyragon. It is ridiculously smooth and easy to use, and that's really important for rate of fire and just overall, good tactile feedback. And it's got a really beefy plunger, like a bolt sled in it, so it's capable of taking some pretty insane spring loads if you want to bring it up to that insane level of performance you can get with some retaliators. But I haven't really seen the one thing that I'd like to see with this blaster, and that's a really cheap and easy to get, like, pump action kit for it. I know I've seen a couple of them, but I haven't seen any that have been widespread adopted or anything like that, which is a bit of a bummer, because this blaster, in my opinion, is just great. I really like the TriStrike. I thought it was a great blaster, and I haven't really seen too many people use them, but I know I have a 10 kilogram, spring waiting for mine, and with the Slamfire is always a nice thing to have, especially when you just want to clear out rooms or just dump darts on one person as much as possible. Yeah, usually it only takes one dart to get somebody out, but if you got an 18 dart clip, it's way easier to spam 3 or 4 than it is to hope you hit him with the first one and then, oh, my first one didn't miss, I better fire a second one. Better not take chances, just always double tap. Coming in at number 2, this is a bit of a different one, but I'm actually going to give this spot to the Nerf Elite Hyperfire. Bear with me for a second. When this thing came out, we saw some modification videos pretty much immediately that showed this thing could not be overvolted. It was having so many problems. Darts were coming out sideways. They were going half the distance and all this stuff. And a lot of people slammed on it for that. But it was a great stock blaster because it was like the fastest firing clip-fed, magazine-fed blaster at the time. Yeah, there were other things like the Mag Strikes and Destinies and stuff like that, but when it comes to just taking standard magazines, that thing fired ridiculously fast, and so it became kind of a workhorse for a lot of people in the stock arena. But it wasn't until I got my hands on 2 of them, decided to bolt them together and make it into the most insane pistol I possibly could, hitting darn near 36 darts a second, that I started to really appreciate this blaster a heck of a lot more. It is small, compact, and fires darts like nobody's business. And the most ironic thing is I didn't have to do anything to keep my darts going straight without any kind of the whirlybird things going on. That was really surprising to me, which makes me wonder what was going on with the people who were having problems with that. The Elite Hyperfire right now, if you want to get it, you can find it at Walmart for $40, maybe even a little bit cheaper, and that includes 2 25 dart drums, which are amazing magazines in my opinion, or drums, or whatever the technical term. I'm sure somebody will complain about that in the comments anyway. But it comes with 2 of them, 50 darts in the blaster itself, which is a great deal for even somebody who wants a stock blaster or a super stock blaster if you're going to modify it. And my opinion is if you're going to modify it and you are having some troubles, well, I heard from Gavin Fuzzy, if you are having that crazy whirlybird thing, just use 1/2" PETG and just kind of wedge that right against the flywheel, right there at the front of the flywheel cage, and that will help guide the darts out and prevent them from doing that crazy spinning. I like the Hyperfire a lot. It has drastically replaced the any kind of pusher mechanism for me. And overall, I think the belt-fed mechanism was one of the better things Nerf has done in a long time. It gave you a lot of utility, a lot of stuff in a very weird kind of angled, minimized space. I liked it a lot. It wasn't that big, huge, thick thing. And while I have used stuff like the XSW kit for the Strife, mine's actually failed. And that, you know, kind of turns me off using pushers ever again. You can't get that great tactile feedback with one of those belt-fed mechanisms as you can with the standard pusher, but when it comes to dumping darts as fast as possible, I'd accept no substitutes. And my absolute best blaster pick of 2016, absolutely no surprise to anyone, the one blaster I think you should go out and buy right this second if you don't own one, heck, buy two, is the Dartzone Magnum. What can I say about this thing that hasn't already been said? If you're living under a rock for some reason, the Magnum Super Drum Magnum, it's the Dartzone Magnum at this point, is a slam fire 40 dart cylinder pistol for $20. And the best part is, this thing out of the box will hit about 85 FPS, which is way higher than Nerf stuff. And that is amazing. I think this is the new best blaster for HVZ. Not that I play a whole lot of HVZ, but if you could imagine just going to the store and spending maybe $20 and then maybe going on Amazon and buying another 400 darts for, you know, a total of like $50 max, you get yourself something that will get you pretty much the entire way there. This thing offers you so much. It's a relatively compact blaster, and it can be reduced even smaller if you just take off this front part, which is like 4 screws, you just pop this thing off. And then if you do some other slight modifications, like a drop cylinder, gotta be careful for that happening, you can reload this thing on the fly if you wanted to. You could literally go out and buy multiple of them and just slam the thing in there, slam it closed, and there you go, you can reload. Now they're huge, you know, replacements. They're 40 darts and they're circular, so you wouldn't be able to carry all that much on you, but since it's an open face blaster, it's really easy to feed up on the fly. So if you have a second, you can easily feed up on the one shots you've already done over here, and if you're running low, it's really easy for you to pop a couple more darts in there and get your shots out there. An amazing blaster, absolutely incredible, and I could not see anything else overtaking this year. If this blaster disappears, it's one I will genuinely mourn because it's just so freaking good. If you do not have one of these, buy it. Buy it right now, because this thing will change just about everything and might even wean you away from using magazines. Yeah, you can't detach and have a quick reload, but 40 darts. Like even the 35 round drums you get from, you know, the old Raiders and stuff like that have a chance of failing, and on top of that, it's only 35. This is 40. I don't really think I need to say anything else about it. The Dartzone Magnum, bar none, the best blaster released this year, and at a great price point with good modification potential, excellent stock performance, great capacity, firing rate is out there, you know. That's every single one of those was a shot. There is a lot to love here. What do you think about my list for 2016? Let me know if you have anything else that you would change down in the comment boxes below. And of course, if it's the best blasters of 2016, well, that obviously means they're gonna be 5 of the worst blasters of 2016. So make sure you click on over here to take a look at that video. I'm Walcom S7. Thank you very much for watching this video, and of course I hope to see you in an entirely different one. Or kind of the same thing if you're watching the top 5 first. Begin.